Hi there, welcome to our channel. I'm Vic.
I'm Nick.
And we're Envy Board Gaming. And today we're looking at The White Castle. This is a 1 to 4 player game. It is by Devir, published by Devir, and it is designed by Shay and Isra. Nick is going to go through how you play, and then we're going to give our reviews.
Let's do it. All right, folks, welcome to the table. We are set up here for a 2-player game of The White Castle. It will be set up differently for different player counts, so you can see we have less dice out here. There's also a rule that there's no stacking dice in a 2-player game, so a couple things that are different right off the top. So in this game, White Castle, you are playing as different clans trying to gain favor in this province here that is led by this Saki clan. So you are leaders of minor clans trying to gain influence. So what you're doing, essentially you have 3 rounds to play, tracked right here. And you have 3 actions each round, regardless of how many players you have at the table. That will always be the timer of the game. We have the first player markers right here on the passage of time. Whoever's on top of that is first player. They're also marked here with their swan right thing, or crane, whatever that might be. All right, so on your turn, you have a few actions, a few things you're going to think about. So first you're going to draft a die. And no matter what the player count, you're going to have to either draft the left or right die of any of these 3 colors here. If you draft the left side of the bridge, you are going to be able to trigger off some actions that are down here. If you draft the right side, well, you're taking the better die, which could warrant you getting some money. All right. We'll explain all the actions and we'll explain what we start with here. At first, you're going to draft between some cards. This is your starting resources, and this is another card that will give you a bonus if you select actions on your board. So we get both those cards. I already set the goods. They're tracked on this board here, and then we are going to, once I have all my starting resources and coins, the demo seals, so you see I have 4 coins. By the way, these are not from the game. We just replaced these coins here. So once I have all this, I'm going to flip it over and then tuck it right over here. So now it becomes part of this, what is called a lantern action. That might just be a little bit low on the screen, but you can see it now. I'm going to tuck it back because we're going to add cards to this as the game goes along. So let me bring this back. Okay. Now we're all set up and good to go. So on your turn, you can draft any of those dice, like I said, and let's go over some actions you might take and how you're going to assign these dice. First of all, we know already, because I've already said it, that you can assign dice here. Well, you can see there's values on these spots. Even these on the board have values. This doesn't exclude you from playing other valued dice. It just says what it will require as far as, will it require money? Will it give you money? And that's going to be the difference of the die that you put there and what is printed on the board. So if I played, let's say I played this 5 right here, I would get 1 coin, and I would not be able to activate my lantern because I took it from the right side of a bridge. So all I care about right now is I get 1 coin because I put a 5 on a 4. The difference is 1. I put the higher. So if I had put a 3 there, I would owe 1 coin. So in this case, I put the 5, I get a coin, and then I'll activate that color die. So you can see this correlates with the white die. I played a white die, I can get to do that action. Okay? You can see there's symbols out here. There's die that have multiple appearances in a single action. Well, that's good, because if I were to place, let's say I placed the 1 here, if I take this orangish red die, this orange die right here, I would be able to, first of all, I would owe 2 coins, because I took it from the left side, so it's the lower die. I owe 2 coins. 3 minus 1 is 2, so I owe 2. And then I am going to do the lantern action because I took from the left side of the bridge. So I would look at what I have. In this case, I just have 1 food, so I would move up my food marker by 1. And then I would do both of these actions in whatever order I like. I could do one of these tools right here, this iron, gain 1 of those, and get the lantern bonus again, so another food. And then I can spend 1 of my seals and then do a military type action right here. So, and just so I get the actions right, that is a warrior action. All right. So I would do both those in whatever order I want. or if I can't do them, then I just skip it. And that's going to be the same regardless. If you see there's 2 appearances here, I'll do those 2. All right, so that is the crux of what you're doing on your turn. Now let's go over some actions that we can choose. The main 3. Let's go over some symbols first. So we got this. That's the passage of time. That is going to determine player order, and that is up here. You can see sometimes there's requirements to advance at certain thresholds, certain amount of seals you have to spend. We have the well right here. This is down here, the well. Whenever you see the well, let me bring this. This is another symbol of the well. Whenever you see that, you're going to be able to do the well action at the bottom left. The well is the only spot where as many people as they want can go here. You can see this infinite symbol right there. In this case, it is random every single game what's going to be put here. These because these are double-sided. So in this case, only the goods show up at the well. So you're going to get, first of all, you're going to look to see if you can get some coins or whatnot, because only a 1 is required here. So generally, unless it's a 1, obviously you're going to get some coins. You're going to get this always pre-print on the board, this Deimos seal. And in this case, in this game, you're going to get a coin and one of these pearls. That is always tracked on your board. All right, so that's the well. Now the 3 other main ones, we have the warrior action over here, and that is going to be symbolized right there. I always remember it for that red flag. So this is the warrior action, and that's going to cost whatever is printed, however much of those tools that you want to spend, those iron. So the iron cost right here is in red. Whenever something's in red, that means you owe it. If it's in black, that means you get it. So you can see you owe that, and you're going to put one of your warrior meeples that have a sword into that spot of whatever you want to pay. And you're going to get that immediate reward of what is printed there. Not only that, but you'll get some victory points as multipliers of who's in the castle as well. So let's just say I spent 1 tool. I'll get 3 food immediately. So 1 tool goes down, 3 food goes up. And that was if I took an action. Let's just say I took that. I took it here, okay? I spent 3 coins. I did that. All right? So that's one action. Another action is the, let's go with Gardener. This one right here. You see this picture of a bridge. That means it's over at the left where all the bridges are. So the Gardener means you're going to put one of your farmers out. And that's going to have a food cost. And that's printed over here at the far left. So there's 6 to select from. As many people can go there as desired. However, you cannot go there yourself more than once. They'll give you points at end of game, and they'll give you an ability here at the end of rounds, except from the last round. Aside from the last round, you're going to have this ability as long as there are dice still remaining at the bridge of end of rounds. And on top of that, right when you put a farmer on this, you're going to have this. You're going to be able to do this. So in this case, spend 3 coins and be able to do a military action. But that's going to cost 4, and you're going to put one of your farmer meeples on it. And it'll cost you 4 food in that case. Put it right there and immediately do that. Then at the end of round, you're going to be able to do that as well, assuming that there's dice left on this bridge. And the last one we'll talk about is over here. This is going to be called the perform a courier action. So you have a couple options. Technically, you have 3 options, but one of them is pretty similar to the other. So here, let's see where the illustration is. Here it is. There it is right there. You can see the castle. So the courier action, you're going to have choices. In this case, I don't have any meeples on the board for this action, so my choice is going to be limited because I don't have anybody. I'll have to pay to get somebody on there. If I don't have anybody, I have to put somebody there. So it's going to cost me 2 coins as printed here. And in this action, you can do 2 actions. You do the courier action technically twice. So 2 coins to get one of these meeples out here. I would just call them the regular meeple because they don't carry any tool. So we are going to put them here at the entrance of the castle. And then other options are available to me. If I have 2 coins, I could just put another one out there. However, let's say I had 3 of these pearls because it costs pearls as printed right here to move up on this castle. So one option is I can spend 2 pearls to move up. And at this point, I can select any of these 3 right here. When I move to any of them, let's say I select this one, I will take this card. It will now replace the card that was on my board at the beginning of the game. And this is going to now become part of my lantern action. So it's going to cycle down here, and this is going to correlate to actions that go across this row. Which these rows down here get better and better as the game goes on, because as you deploy more meeples, you can see that you reveal more symbols down here, which give you items. And you also get what's pre-printed as well. And now I have this that will also trigger off when I select one of those actions. So that, and then this gets replaced. And on top of doing that, I get to select one of these white shaded actions to do right now, just for selecting this card. So let's say I get 2 food. Now, in the future, if I were to do this action again, because I already did 2 actions, I already did the 2 courier part. I did 1 to add and then 1 to move up. So I'm done. However, in the future, if I wanted, I could then spend, let's say I want to spend 5. 5 means I get to move twice, and you get the action or the card action of where you end up, not where you move through. And you have to follow these arrows. So I could not jump over here because that arrow is not pointed over here. I would have to be here or here to do this one. So I would have to move here. And the game, again, same concept. If I were to stop there, assuming I stop there, I can get this action, take that card. However, if I spent 5, if I had 5 to spend, I would jump through that and go up here. This would then let me select, give me the first dibs of which one I want to do of these. I would also trigger my lantern action, and I would be able to claim that. And this will give me 10 points at the end of the game. However, whereas these would give me 6 and 3 points. And then over here it gives you 1 point for every appearance. Not to mention that these are multipliers. If you had people in the warrior area, they care about where you're at in the actual castle, not the entrance. They care about where you're at in the castle. As long as you have an appearance in the castle, there'll be multipliers for the people you have here and the people you have in the castle. So if I went here, and let's say I wanted to select this, this means any white action on the board, I'll be able to select that and my lantern. And then at the very end of the game, I will get 10 points for that as well. That gives you a good feel, actually, because those are your main actions. Everything else is getting goods, getting coins, getting different things like that. But your main actions, I've already covered all 4 of them. The well, the courier, the warrior, and this one over here, the gardener. You're going to play 3 rounds. You're going to have 3 actions each round. So at the end, you're going to have 3 dice left over here. That's how you're going to know that the game is, or the round is over. Once you play it through all 3 rounds, at the end of the round 3, you're not going to trigger off these, whereas you normally would for end of round 1 and round 2. You're simply going to get your points for those. You're going to get points for the multipliers here. You're going to get points for where you are in this passage of time track right here. If you advance farther, you're going to get more points. You can see there's thresholds right here with 3 VP and 6 VP, and then it goes up even farther. We've never gotten that far, but you get points for all of that. And you, let's see, any points you earn during the game, this little fan here, you'll be able to track whenever you see this red fans, like right here. You're going to be able to get points during the game. As you see, this one is black, so that means you get it right then and there. Whereas if it were red, you would spend it. And after 3 rounds, that will cover it.
All right, and we are back. Thank you, Nick, for the great overview of how you play White Castle. This is a game that has a lot in the box. Devere has a classic, small box, a lot of game kind of thing with like Red Cathedral and Bamboo. Mm-hmm. So that's what I thought of right away when I saw this game. Whoa, they got 3D bridges?
Yeah.
In a box that small?
Yeah, nice components.
Yeah.
Even these this big, I can't call it little round tracker. Pretty awesome for just a round tracker. Yeah. It stands out for sure. But yeah, the bridges obviously stand out. Mm-hmm. You have the nice meeples, 3 different types of meeples, the passage of time markers, and the coins not so good. The daimyo tokens, whatever, we call them oranges. Yeah, we had to replace the coins. The coins just aren't good. That's all. That's the only thing component wise that stands out. That wasn't good. So the game itself is a fairly quick game. When you know how to play this game, it's under an hour. Especially at 2, because you get 3 actions in 3 rounds. You get 9 turns. Yes, you're doing more than one thing on your turn generally.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, otherwise you get that L.
Yeah.
So you can make a case that this game maybe could be one more round. I kind of would like it to be one more round, and I don't know if I'm the majority of that opinion. So it's good. It's really good. I'm not saying it's not. It's docking it because it's a little too short for me. I think it could be one more round. Is all I'm saying.
One more round.
I would enjoy it maybe a little bit more if it was one more round. Because I think for me, what it is, the biggest thing about it not being one more round is when you have your own board and you have actions to choose on that board, I never can get to a point where I want to use that.
Yeah,
if I did
like
one more round, if I did one more round, I would use that action because now I've sent enough people out and now this is a viable action I'm able to use. But when you have 9 turns, you're going to be hard pressed to do that action. You might do it once in a while. I don't think it's an action you're going to do every single game you play of it. Although I would like it to be an action I could do every single game I play of it. I like me focusing. I've been rewarded for focusing on these different actions. Now I can actually use that, spend a turn to use what I've done all game. But that really doesn't necessarily happen every time. So last game I focused on the farming over there at the bridge. It didn't work out for points, and what I could have done if I had one more game is to trigger off all the items there. I just didn't have enough time. That's all.
Yeah.
As far as the game, do you enjoy the gameplay?
I like the gameplay. I like that there is a new card that comes out, and the dice are going to determine if you'll be able, like, what action you're going to do, because you have to assign a colored dice to go to that spot, and that'll pick based on the card what you're going to do. So that's interesting because it's not always the same worker placement spots or dice placement spots. So I do like the gameplay for that reason, but I agree with you that it wraps up too quickly, and before I know it, I feel like I'm just gearing up, and then it's like, done, timer's up, and there's nothing you can really do. Yes, there is a lantern action you can get if you take the lesser dice, okay? Now you get a little more stuff, and that always feels good whenever you can to try to get the lantern, because then you just feel like you're getting more value out of your turn. Otherwise, if you're just going to like the wishing well and getting that basic stuff, it feels underwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, and sometimes you just need let's say the Daimyo seal. You just need that, and you get some stuff that goes with it. So I like that as an action. I like that it needs to be there. It for sure needs to be in the game.
Yeah.
So it's always a viable option. And then they have another thing that's good is you can't get locked out of any action really, and it also scales. So what I mean by you can't get locked out of action necessarily is they have those at the bottom right where you can choose any action that is any of those main actions. So go into the garden or go into the military camp or whatever it might be. Those are there for you if they're not in the cards. So you can at least do that. And I was going to say it scales really well because you can stack dice the more you play. We play at 2 players, but we've played it at 4 twice with 2 different people, 2 different couples. And it is cool that now you have the option to stack. So just because our friend took a spot doesn't mean I'm blocked out of it. I can still stack on top of that spot and use it as well. Super great. That is a thing. And that also means there's another layer because the number that they put there, not only does it determine if you get money or not, but it also determines what the new number is on that spot.
Yeah.
So now all of a sudden what was a 3 is now a 6, and now that changes things. I cannot get money in that spot no matter what because a-hole over here put a 6 down. And now it's just now I'm discouraged from going there. I actually am going to lose money if I go there in some cases, most cases. I like that when you go to the military, I like you get to spend all these different things. You're spending things to go there, and it all kind of ties in together. At the military spot, you immediately get a bonus. At the farm spot, you immediately get a bonus too, and at the castle, you also immediately get a bonus if you move up on the castle. If you climb up your social class in that castle, you're going to immediately take a card. Super clever because it's not only do you get that card for your purpose of your board and knock something else down to your lantern, but you replenish the area in which you've taken a worker placement. So now the worker placement changes. A lot of cool stuff in this game.
Yep. I think so. I think you're right about that. I think that there's no shortage of things to do. So you could just look around and survey what action you want to take. And I liked it when we played it at 4 because of what you said about the dice stacking too.
And I think in this game, what stands out is the way your resources work. It is determining your action. The first thing on my turns, at least for me, I look at what resources I have. I have a lot of food. I want to farm.
Yeah.
I have a lot of tools, or iron, whatever they call it. I want to go to the military camp. So what you've built up dictates your actions throughout the game, and vice versa. If you're going for something, you want to build up that thing.
Yeah.
So I find, and I could be totally off base here, I find the way to win this game is you have to climb up the social ladder of the cows, the castle.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, and you focus on other things, I don't think this is going to work out for you. That's the one action I think you need to do in order to win. So to consider that. So that is I would say a slight negative. Is I don't think, and I haven't put hundreds and hundreds of hours of playtesting on this. I don't think you can ignore that. And I don't think you want to. It's a fun action. So it's not like it's a dull action you have to do.
Yeah.
And you're just going through the motion. I think it's a fun action. And all of them are fun actions.
Yeah.
There's no throwaway action here. All right. That's about enough, right? You got anything else you want to add?
Yeah, I think that I agree with you about the climbing up the palace, because I was going to say, when I didn't do that part, I didn't do very well. And this is the last time we played was one of the first times I actually made it to the top.
Okay.
Because I never really messed with that. And I don't think I ever won before that, or I may have won some other way. But I do. It's really hard to pick when you're going to go do the gardening action. When it gets too late in the game, you almost feel like, it's the last round. I'm not going to be able to get the last benefit from it. Not that it's a huge, massive benefit, but you, again, want to get that value out of your turn. And then that kind of rules that bridge action out for me in the last part. Not always though, but sometimes, because it's going to help you at the end. But that's really scoring your gardeners, I believe, that are out there. So for end of game scoring.
Yes.
So yeah.
The last game we played, when I did want to put there because I got 7 points for being there. I didn't take the bonus even. But what you do is when you put it out there, you do get that bonus, even if it's the last round. What Vic is saying is at the end, normally you trigger off those. In rounds 1 and 2, you trigger off. As long as there's dice in that bridge, you're going to trigger off that action. That farmer's going to be able to do that. In the third round, that doesn't happen. All it is end game scoring. So there's only 2 feasible rounds that you can get the bonus for those farmers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally get that too. It's like that same feeling that this is only going to work rounds 1 and round 2, and it's not even a guarantee. Somebody could just empty that bridge.
Yeah.
That's
right. It takes that away. Well, that's all I think I have to say.
So it's a fun game. We'll go to scores.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a high score for some negatives that I had. It's an 8-6. I think it's an excellent game. I'm so happy to have it. It's such a great option for a game that's going to give you good choices in a short period of time, which I love, and a great box size. I totally approve this game for sure. 8-6 for me.
Yeah, I agree. It's an 8-2 for me. I thought of 8-6. Was going to write 8-6, swear to God, but went with 8-2 because I thought about the way that the action, as I mentioned, with the bridge goes away, the tightness. Although I have, and I said this to Nick, I've been into those games that have finite turns recently. I'm like, that's really crunchy to me, knowing that there's not going to be, and we don't know how long we're going to play this. We don't know how long this could go on for. You could extend your turn, but you're not extending it that much. Things are not chaining off so crazily. It's really quite quick. So I love having it in the collection. Like Nick said, I like how easy it is to bring around because it's got a small box, and it does impress when you put it on the table, despite the simplicity really of what you're doing in the game. It's not too wild.
There's an elegance to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks so much for watching our overview and review of White Castle. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click the like, thumbs up, and subscribe for more great reviews. We'll see you next time.
Go get yourself a crave case.